I hope the music is audible. Can someone let me know in the chat? Cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, obvious choice since it's pretty popular right now. We'll start sharp at 6, so we'll just wait for a while. Hi everyone, for those who just joined, we'll start sharp at 6. Enjoy the music until then. Okay, sorry to interrupt the music, but it's 6, so we'll start. I only have a 30-minute slot. So before I introduce myself, I'll just lay out some ground rules. So the first 15 minutes I'll talk, and the last 15 minutes we all can talk. You can ask me questions, we can have a conversation because I know online sessions are boring right now because we've done it for a while now. We know we don't like the one-sided communication thing. It's no fun. So feel free to use the question board in the last 15 minutes. I promise I'll try to make the next 15 minutes as fun and as informative as possible. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Okay, just a second. Okay, awesome. So before I start with the topic, which is careers in data science, Of course, those who don't know me want to know who I am. I am Jasleen, as you can tell from the profile and the link that you've joined. So, why am I here? Why am I qualified to take this live stream today? Well, a few things about me. I finished my bachelor's degree last year in physics, mathematics, and computer science. I then started my master's degree immediately after that, which is in data science. And of course, our topic is careers in data science, so it makes sense, right? Other than that, my academics, I freelance at Scalar Academy and Relevel by Unacademy. Really fun startups, a lot of fun work, a lot of great stuff that they're doing. Other than that, like I said, I am kind of a workaholic. I work a lot and I do a lot of things on the side. So one of them is I enjoy mentoring people a lot. That is why I said yes to this live stream today. So I have mentored over 1,000 students in tech, open source, and soft skills till now. I started very seriously when the pandemic began, which is in 2020. Other than that, in data science, I have published a book on R programming already, and I have a book on big data under publication with my university. I also have a chapter with Code Academy, and I hope some of my chapter members are here right now. So we are 140 members strong at the moment. We started last year, which is a really great thing. And the only reason I am hosting this live stream for both my chapter and on Creator is that we don't have enough professionals talking about what is a career like in data science. We know what course to do. We know we have to do competitions in Kaggle. We have to do a lot of other things, but we don't know how to get to the destination. So that is what I'm going to try to do today. So without wasting any more time talking about me, if you want to get in touch with me or know more about me, you can find the Linktree button on Creator's website and you can get in touch with me there. I also offer one-on-one mentoring sessions. So I'll share more details regarding that towards the end. And before we dive in, I have this kind of a tradition. I always start my live events with memes. So first of all, I know a lot of great events happening on Creator itself. So thank you for joining mine. I hope you have fun and you have good takeaways at the end of the session. Also, a great concept by Creator to host live streams, because one-sided YouTube videos are all out there, but it's not as much fun and it's not as much communicative and interactive. So that is the whole concept of live streams on Creator. And the 30-minute slot makes sense even more because that is as much as the attention we can hold while listening to someone talk. So I promise your brains will not melt at the end of the session. So talking about careers in data science, of course, if you have joined this live session, you know what data science is, why it's all the rage, why are people crazy about it. So I'm not going to go into all of that. We'll start initially with the career options that you can take if you are pursuing data science. Again, pursuing data science also comes in two ways. You can either do a self-learning path, or you can go the traditional route and do a degree like I am. We will again talk about that once we kind of look into the career options that you will get if you study data science. So let's start. Okay, so basically, if you are someone who likes numbers, mathematics, statistics, and have a flair for programming, you might succeed at data science. Again, your passion is really important here because it is long hours in front of a computer looking at numbers. If numbers don't fascinate you, then this is probably not the role for you. But if all of the boxes are ticked, which I just mentioned, then yes, data science is for you. But again, it is a very, very broad spectrum. People just take it very lightly these days, but there are a lot of subsets, even in data science, which is the confusing part. That is where the confusion actually begins. So if I have studied data science, which job role should I go for, right? So if I have to talk from the basic point of view, the first job role that you can go for is a data scientist, which is very general, very vague, but at the same time, a lot of good opportunities here to learn and grow. So basically, if you want to go in the data scientist profile, you will need a good algorithms and programming background, along with the things that you study in data science, which is your usual Python, R, SQL, Excel, and machine learning, AI, deep learning, etc. So like I said, it is the broadest spectrum out there. So if you're someone who has not yet narrowed down your interest, that okay, you're not sure whether you want to do ML, you want to do AI, or you want to go into business intelligence, then data scientist is a good job role for you, because in the couple of years that you start off as a fresher, You can explore all the possible options here, and then maybe, in a couple of years, switch to a specialty. So it works really well like that. The next one that I want to discuss is a data analyst. Now, a lot of people are usually confused about the difference between the two. So a scientist basically has to make a product end to end. They cannot leave it just as a report or as an analysis. But a data analyst is not expected to make a product out of it. They just have the data, they analyze it, and they put their analysis into a form of report, presentations, graph, etc. So if you're someone, again, if you're not someone who has a great programming background, then the data analyst job role is for you, because again, you will not have to know coding from scratch, which is great because you're obsessed with numbers, you like statistics and the math part. So you don't have to fixate on the programming part of it or learning too much of it. There are simpler tools like Tableau, Power BI, even plain old Excel. If you're good at these, then your data analyst role is kind of satisfied, because you look into the business problems and then you come up with other kinds of analytics and how to improve the business, bring more business, make profit, things like that. You are not concerned with building a proper end-to-end solution. So the next one that we're going to talk about, again, this is again a very big generalization, data engineer. Within data engineers, we have again database administrators, database architects, database scientists. So again, a lot of classifications, but the general term is a data engineer. A data engineer is basically concerned with the building part of it. So obviously, just creating a software is not enough. If you are someone who has done full stack programming, or you have had friends who know full stack, to build an end-to-end product, the database part, the data backend part also has to be very robust and strong. So that is basically what a data engineer does. He does not need to really know ML, AI, DL, and be really good at machine learning or artificial intelligence to be a data engineer. But if they are good with SQL, they're good with building databases, schema diagrams, then data engineer is the job role for you. The next one that we're going to talk about, the next one that we're going to talk about is a business intelligence analyst. So again, it's similar to data analyst, but again, it is very narrowed down to businesses. So if you're someone who likes fintech, you are interested in finance, you have a background in finance, and you want to kind of dabble into data science, then this is the job role for you, because again, you do not need to be proficient in programming to be in this role. You can switch specialties. You can also switch brands. You can work in healthcare, you can work in fintech, regardless of what the domain is. If you want to be a business intelligence analyst, you have a very, very good scope, because mostly all businesses these days do need an analyst, because so much data, right? And the last two are kind of very general, again, might have specializations in the future in these fields, but the ML engineer and an AI engineer. So if you don't want to go with the vague term that we started off with, just a data scientist, you can go for a specialized job role. We can specialize either in AI or in ML. Now, again, ML is a subset of AI. So like I said, there can be more future job roles in these two specializations as well, sub roles, because again, to build an end-to-end product, you need a lot of people to be involved in it. So you can't just stick to one job role and just say that, okay, this is all I know. You are supposed to multitask, but you're not supposed to specialize in all of the things that are said there. So as a data scientist as well, if you check out job role postings or JDs of multiple companies, they usually have a specialized tech stack mentioned. They do not expect you to know everything, but the job role is in general a data scientist. So if you're someone who is really fascinated by AI or ML, or you have built projects on it and you have great experience in it, then you can just skip these steps and go directly for that. So these are the widely popular data scientist roles, data science roles in the industry right now. And again, like I said, I am pursuing a master's degree in data science. I am someone who is still confused about what to pick. So I can understand where you might come from, that which one is the right one for me, which one is the one that I should go with, which one will pay well, because obviously all of those things really matter. So before we take up questions like that, I'll just quickly walk you through how you can become one of these job roles if you want to. So since I said there are two ways to learning what data science has to offer, so the two learning paths, according to me, are pretty simple and kind of drastic too. You can either take the self-learning path, because in India, even now, there are not a lot of colleges offering a full-time proper degree or a diploma. There are just handful of them, my university being one of them. But obviously, having a degree gives you that advantage of having that qualification on paper. But self-learning options are pretty great out there as well. There's Kaggle, obviously, can't miss without mentioning that. But again, self-learning needs a lot of discipline, and you need to kind of have a list of things you need to know that they'll probably teach in a degree, right? It has to be a structured way of learning, even if it's self-learning, because that is where most of us fail when self-learning comes to the picture. We kind of lack the discipline of following what the trends are, of practicing as much as we might do in a degree. If you're taking the self-learning path, the main things that you do need to know is statistics, obviously. Can't really do without it. Mathematics, in mathematics, again, you'll have to do your research and find out, stuff like linear algebra helps in image mining, text mining, image analytics, web analytics. And again, not the entire degree math, but you have to learn the math behind the ML models and the ML algorithms. And you also have to have a strong background in database technologies, because again, if you can't store the data, you can't work with the data. So SQL and obviously the NoSQL types as well. Then there's Python. I know everyone knows they have to learn Python, but again, in Python, you do not have to learn data structures. You do not have to learn all the sorting, searching algorithms. Rather than that, you have to specialize in the libraries that Python has to offer. There's NumPy, there's Pandas, there's scikit-learn, there's Seaborn, Matplotlib. So basically the data science part of it, not the developer part of it. And then there's obviously basics of machine learning, how to build different models, how to check different models, how to validate different models. And then there is deep learning. Deep learning, again, is a subset on its own, very vast, but very useful, because that is where we come up with the concept of neural networks and related RNN, CNN, and those things. So if you're doing the self-learning path, you will have to cover a lot on your own, and you have to give yourself a timeline to do so. Because if you just think that, you're going to start with stats again is a very, very big, vast subject. You can't finish and learn everything at one go. That is where a degree or a diploma or a proper course comes handy, because it is structured. It is way more structured, and that kind of tells you that, okay, this is enough in this domain, and you can just finish that and go on to the next step. So that is the key from my end and my perspective, that if you think you have the discipline and you think you have some of these check boxes already ticked, that you're okay, you're great at Python, you know SQL, you're great at R, then you can obviously skip a degree, go for the self-learning path, and then out of these job roles, figure out which one suits the best. That is how you can take, that's one way to go. And obviously the other way is the conventional way. You go get a degree, you study everything for say 2 years, and then at the end of the 2 years, again, same job roles that you can pick out of, see what resonates most with you, build projects, and then choose the one that suits the best. Because in the long run, if you're not having fun at what you're doing, you won't last long. And like I said in the beginning, it is a job that will involve you sitting in front of the computer for hours at straight and look at data, look at numbers, kind of get frustrated with data, because regardless of what Kaggle tells you, the data always is not clean. It is not always organized. It is not always transformed. So you are the one who will spend 80% of their time doing all of that, which Kaggle kind of does for us, because it gives us clean data sets. That is kind of misleading, but we are okay with it because it's a great platform. So that was all from my end about what you can opt out of if you want to have a career in data science, and the two ways you can take to reach your destination. So I'll stop sharing now, since we're exactly at 15 minutes, and I'll start taking questions. So if there are any questions, feel okay. I see a couple of questions. Give me a second. Any advice on how to hire a data scientist as a startup? Okay. So Anmol, depends on the kind of startup you have. Like I said, the skill sets will vary depending on your data, the kind of predictions you want the data scientist to do, or whatever you want the data scientist to do with the data, the test or the hiring process kind of should be structured in a way that will allow the person applying to kind of match their skills. Because in India, like I said, the education system for data science is not streamlined, so is the hiring process. Because just like for SDE roles, we have a proper navigation system that you go on HackerRank, give a test. If you sorted, do well on the test, we call you for an interview. We don't have anything like that for data science. So the best bet that you can take for hiring a data scientist is look into your business, whatever is your business need, cultivate it into maybe a short test or an assignment, and then maybe send it out to the potential candidates. Okay. Why do some companies ask for ML with big data? Because well, big data is again a subdomain of data science itself. Someone who is good at big data might not be great at ML, but if that's the company's need, that they want to transform that big data and apply some kind of prediction models to it, so they will ask you for your ML expertise, because without that, you will not be able to tackle their business problems. So maybe that is why some companies ask for basics of ML when you are applying for a job. Okay. OOPS concepts are required for ML? Well, not really. If you are someone who wants to be a full stack data scientist, like we have a full stack engineer, then of course OOPS is required, because that is how you will actually build scalable products. You can't build a product without knowing OOPS, because again, it's not end to end. You will have to start from the scratch and do deployment as well. So if you are someone who wants to build an end to end product and be a full stack data scientist, then yes, OOPS is required. If not, then no, OOPS is not required. Some resources for good data sets that I can practice with. Okay, obviously there's Kaggle. Other than that, the most organic way of practicing data science problems is to acquire your own data. I know it is time taking, but that is the best way we do it. That is how we do it at our university as well. But again, there are a couple of resources that maybe I can share towards the end. I'll try to drop it in the chat. There are a couple of websites that offer free data sets, so you can take them, dabble with them, play around, see what you do. Algorithms same for ML and data science. Okay, not exactly same, Avinash, because ML, again, like I said, it's a subdomain. If you are going for data science is processes. It does not have algorithms. It has a series of steps that you're supposed to follow to solve a data science problem. So it is a 6-step procedure kind of thing. So those are important to know when you are going into data science. And if you want to, identify the problem, clean the data, transform the data, and then apply ML to it, that is where the algorithm part comes in. That is where you will need to know the algorithms for ML, and then that is how you will build your model. And then obviously there are more algorithms for model validation. So that is where the ML part comes into data science. How to obtain experience if you're just starting out? Well, the best way to do is if you're someone who's already in the industry and you're already working, then obviously internships are not an option, but then you can substitute it with projects on GitHub. So if you just make some projects on your own on your GitHub, make a GitHub profile really well, and kind of learn in the process, not just showcase the projects but also know what the projects are doing, then I think that can substitute your work experience part. And if you're someone who's just starting out, who's probably a fresher, who has not had much experience, so then you can go for internships, because at the end of the day, they are a great way to learn. And you will also in the process find out whether you actually like what you're doing, whether the domain that you're working in is good for you, or whether you're skilled at it. So if you're working, go for projects. If you are a fresher, go for internships. As a founder, if there's something you can do without going too deep, so you can analyze your own data. Well, before the whole buzz of data science, people used Excel, I guess, to do all of that. So maybe since it's pretty easy, pretty easy in the sense that if you give it enough time, you can learn what you want to online these days. So if you are a founder, for example, and you want to kind of dabble into the data science domain without spending too much time or hiring someone to do it, you can take a couple of courses and you can do that. But again, it's a vast field, so domain expertise really matters. So the most basic tool that you can use to do your analysis is Excel or Tableau. How would you identify a data science problem? Okay, I'm not sure if you have. Well, again, data science problems can arise based on whatever your startup is. If, for example, you're in healthcare and you want to analyze the trends or the diseases based on the age of people or the gender of people, and you have that many users on board, and for example, say it's 10,000 users, then obviously there is a need to apply data science processes to it, because you can streamline all of that data, you can get predictions out of it, you can have a proper analysis that, okay, this drug sells the best in this region, or this gender is actually more affected by this particular disease, or this age group is affected by this particular disease. So that is where data science really helps. The processes really help to streamline everything. Uh, some light on master's degree in data science in India. So, well, I can just share my experience. I am currently in Christ University. So, Christ University has five campuses all over India. Only two of them offer masters in data science. So, that one is in Bangalore and one is in Pune, Lavasa. Other than that, there are universities that offer maybe specializations like big data analytics. There is St. Xavier's in Mumbai, St. Xavier's in Ahmedabad, that offer these degrees. But if you ask me why I chose this degree, because I was at a threshold where I was not able to pinpoint that, okay, I just want to do big data or I just want to do ML. So that is why I went for the overall general degree, which is Masters in Data Science instead of a specialization course, because I wanted to explore all the possible domains before making my choice. But other than that, the degree is pretty streamlined. We are taught very up-to-date syllabus, which is a great thing. And you will get to know the requirements. So, for example, I'm just about to finish my first semester. And if I compare that, and if I, for example, go on LinkedIn and look for internships, I can say, okay, yeah, 30% of the skill set that my college is teaching me does match with the job description of most companies in the industry. So I'd say the syllabus is pretty much up to the mark. But other than that, not a lot of universities are offering a master's degree in data science per se. But yeah, it's pretty, I think, still new. More universities will come up. SRM and VIT started their own degrees this year. But again, it's the pilot batch, and it all depends on how good they're placed and what's the general consensus by the people. My university, I think I am the fourth batch, so the response from the other two batches was pretty good, and the feedback was pretty great, so that is why I opted for it. What about statistics? Statistics, again, if you're someone who studied statistics in high school, you might not really relate that with the data science statistics, because that is not really relevant. The kind of statistics that we do in high school is descriptive statistics, and that just helps us to identify some particular trends in the data. But other than that, you do need statistics concepts like hypothesis testing and inferential statistics to be actually good at your job as a data scientist. So you will have to study statistics a lot from scratch, most probably, because the mean, median, mode, and the basic stuff that we study in high school is obviously not enough. Any professional groups that I would recommend you to join? Well, there are a lot of Discord servers that you can join. There's one by Kaggle itself, and Kaggle every year hosts 30 days of ML or 30 days of DL challenges. You can join that. I can share the invite link in the chat. Just give me a moment. And other than that, I think if you want to grow as a data scientist, there is one more. There are a lot of platforms like Towards Data Science, Analytics Vidya. They post a lot of helpful stuff, which is also free. So that helps. And there's a very popular GitHub repository. I'll just share that. They post about the textbooks and the new publications that are coming out in data science. So that also helps people in the long run. Let me just share. So this is a great repository to start with, because they have the essential books that you might need. And talking about Discord server, I'll just share Kaggle's invite. So they keep having a lot of these challenges, 30 days, 66 days. So you can take a part of it, and there are a lot of other people participating with you. So obviously you don't lose the motivation to work in it, because you work in a team and it helps. Basically, learning in a group helps. So this is the link to the Discord server by Kaggle, and I'll just share one more group on. Yeah, this is another Discord channel that's really helpful. Okay, I can't invite people through this. Yeah, so you can join these, and then obviously you can, slowly as you go into the space, you will come across more stuff on LinkedIn, on Discord, or on other platforms that you explore for data science. You will discover that, yeah, there are a lot of other really great groups. But again, it will all work if you are working on it. So just joining groups obviously won't help, right? In the long run, you will have to devote your time and energy, and devote more time to yourself to figure out what is the domain you want to work in. So, okay, this one, I'll just share one last link. Yeah, this is another great platform for learning latest things, for seeing how to make projects, and basically stay up to date with all things data science. Okay, one last resource that I'd like to share. This should help you in the long run. So if you join the Discord servers, they will keep having challenges. And obviously there's Kaggle. On Kaggle as well, you can go and enroll yourself for the challenges that are there. And even if you don't complete them, the process of going through them and, just playing around with the data over there and following the steps and working in a team will give you the idea of, okay, this is what data science is. This is what my ideal day as a data scientist would look like. I'll just quickly check in for any other questions. How important is data mining required for ML? So again, Avinash, data mining and ML are two different domains. So if you're someone doing data mining, you will not be expected to work with ML. Of course, as an individual, for example, if I am practicing something or if I want to learn, I obviously can. I'll have to do all of those steps on my own. But if you're just going for that ML engineer role or just want to be an ML specialist, you do not really need to worry much about data mining. What about EDA? EDA again falls into whatever data science process you study. EDA is nothing but exploratory data analysis. So if you are building models, so obviously if your job role at a company is ML engineer, there will be someone before you who will do the EDA part for you and then hand it over to you. But in general, knowing EDA is preferable, because if you're working with data on your own, you should be able to identify the trends, what's right, what's wrong, what kind of descriptives to find out. Like I said, the descriptive statistics that we study in high school, that's basically what we do in EDA, but then we have to take it a step further and go ahead with, hypothesis testing, inferential statistics. Even if you want to go into research, doing EDA is important, because that will basically give a structure to your data and tell you what the data is actually trying to say. So that is where you can sit down and then fixate your research problem, come up with a problem statement, and then your work starts from there. Then you do review of literature, and that is how you take it step by step. But yes, EDA for any data set that you receive the first time is very important. Okay, I guess we're right on time. If there are any more questions, please feel free to ask. I'll just quickly share one more really great blog resource on data science in the chat. Power BI versus Tableau. Difficult question. I use both, but I'm kind of partial towards Microsoft technologies, so I'll just say Power BI, but they basically do the same thing. And most enterprises, what they do lately is that they come up with their own software instead of buying licensed ones from other companies. But yes, Power BI is helpful in the sense that if you're aware of Power Apps and if you're good at it, you can integrate the two. It goes a long way if you're working with that. You can't do that with Tableau. But yes, if you ask my opinion, I'll go with Power BI. But again, based on your use case, you might have a different choice. Okay, then if just let me know if there are any more questions and if you enjoyed the last 30 minutes with me, I will just quickly just share. Okay, so this is my link tree in case you want to get in touch with me. There's also a button down below which I think will take you to my link tree as well. So you can get in touch with me if you have any more questions. And like I said, I also do one-on-one mentoring sessions. So if you're interested in that, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn and I'll take it from there. Since we are up on time, I think I will wind up this session. Hope you had a great time. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. See you soon. Bye bye.